and welcome to WEBN General News. I'm Emma Siebold.
And I'm Sabrina Lam. Let's get right into today's breaking news. Donald Trump received a lifeline and trial date from the courts Monday afternoon.
We're going to continue to do everything that we can to defend President Trump in that courtroom. And like we said today, we believe that we have a tremendous amount of information now in our hands to help us do that.
The two rulings were given within an hour of each other, clearing the way for the hush money trial to begin selecting the jury on April 15th. And in another impactful ruling from Monday's legal developments, the New York Appeals Court has allowed him to post a reduced $175 million bond regarding his $464 million New York civil fraud trial.
The UN Security Council passed a resolution for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza today.
The result of the voting is as follows: 14 votes in favor, 0 vote against, 1 abstention. The draft resolution has been adopted as Resolution 2728, 2024.
The U.S. abstained from the vote after vetoing previous resolutions. U.S. abstention allowed the resolution to pass with 14 out of 15 members voting. In response, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu canceled his top advisor's upcoming trip to the U.S.
Boeing CEO David Calhoun says he will step down at the end of the year.
We don't put airplanes in the air that we don't have 100% confidence in.
This follows an incident earlier this year when a panel blew off a Boeing MAX 9 airplane during an Alaska Airlines flight. The Federal Aviation Administration puts limits on the production increase of MAX planes. Stan Deal, Boeing's head of commercial airplanes, will retire immediately. The company's chairman, Larry Kellner, will not stand for re-election.
Boston homicides are down 80% this year. There have only been 2 homicides this year compared to last year's 10. Mayor Michelle Wu has since made statements regarding Boston being one of the safest cities in the United States. That being said, the city is still facing issues regarding gun safety. Earlier this year, a man was shot in Dorchester, and there was a murder-suicide at the Moxie Hotel last month.
A large fire broke out in a Newton duplex Sunday. Officials say one man was found dead at the scene.
All this dark thick smoke, and then at one point we saw these flames that were 20-25 feet high, and then we got scared. My 6-year-old was like, "Mama, I'm scared."
Fire Chief Greg Gentile said the fire department received calls at around 8:30 a.m. The first call was from an off-duty Boston firefighter who drove past the burning home. Friends of the victim told a News Center 5 reporter the man found dead was 69-year-old Scott Patz. Pat's wife and all other occupants made it out safely, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation.
At least 60 people were killed in an attack at Crocus Concert Hall in Moscow Friday. The terror group ISIS has claimed responsibility through a video from their media.
I feel terrible about all the violence that exists in our world.
Gunmen stormed the concert hall, injuring around 145 people. The U.S. said it previously warned Russia of possible extremist attacks on gatherings in Moscow. In a speech last Tuesday, Russian President Vladimir Putin called these warnings provocative and intimidating.
College basketball's busiest month has officially begun. For the latest in March Madness and sports news, let's go to our sports correspondent, Averie Morren. Averie?
Thanks, Sabrina. As this season of March Madness progresses, 8 teams continue their journey in the tournament after their wins yesterday. Marquette beats Colorado in an 81-77 game. Purdue defeats Utah State 106-67. Duke University wins against James Madison in a 93-55 game. UConn conquers Northwestern 75-58. University of Houston beats Texas A&M 100-95, and San Diego State defeats Yale 85-57. With yesterday's wins under their belts, these teams gear up for the next round with a spring in their step. The March Madness frenzy continues to build as fans brace themselves for more nail-biting action ahead. Tennis player Aryna Sabalenka defeats Paul Badosa days after the death of her ex-partner Konstantina Kotslov. Former professional ice hockey player Kotslov, who played for NHL's Pittsburgh Penguins, died in what is being called an apparent suicide. Though they were no longer together, Sabalenka made a statement Wednesday asking for respect and time as she heals from this difficult time. The two players, who are friends, embraced each other after the match. Badosa wasn't surprised by Sabalenka's play, explaining that she's a very strong woman. Baltimore Orioles owner Peter Angelos died on Saturday, March 23rd at the age of 94. Angelos dies in the process of his son, John, selling the Orioles to David Rubenstein, co-founder of the Carl Group, Inc. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred made a statement to say Peter Angelos was a proud native of Baltimore who deeply appreciated owning the Baltimore's Orioles. That's all I have for sports. Back to you at the desk.
Coming up, hear why the U.S. Department of Justice is suing Apple.
And a look into what the weather will look like this week. Stay tuned.
You budget. You pay bills.
Yet somehow, women like you, like me,
are 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to save ourselves by setting a goal to save 2% more of our income for our retirement.
Why 2?
1% honors you.
And 1% honors all womankind.
So come on, learn more about the 2% challenge at WeSaySaveIt.org.
Found my heart out there in the open. Trees make you feel smaller. Can't help but get lost in. If I need a break, know where I'm going. Where the water's flowing, I'd rather be floating. If it's one thing that can count on to be free. If it's one place to
feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
An Ohio resident was arrested for allegedly participating in the Rwandan genocide almost 30 years ago. According to Homeland Security investigations, Eric Tabaro Nishimiye faces charges of obstruction of justice, perjury, and falsifying materials. The 1994 Rwandan genocide killed around 800,000 people, most of whom were part of the minority Tutsi ethnic group. Nishimiye was part of the National Revolutionary Movement for Development, the political party that encouraged the genocide in 1994.
The U.S. Department of Justice is suing Apple. They accuse the company of engineering an illegal monopoly in the smartphone market.
We allege that Apple has employed a strategy that relies on exclusionary, anti-competitive conduct that hurts both consumers and developers.
Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco says that Apple locked its consumers into the iPhone while locking its competitors out of the market. Apple called the lawsuit wrong and on the facts and the law. The lawsuit filed in New Jersey seeks to stop Apple from undermining competitors.
We're at another rainy week here in Boston. For the latest forecast updates, let's go to our weather correspondent, Hongyi. Hongyi?
Thanks, Emma. It's a wet week ahead of us with fluctuating temperatures. Kickstarting the week, Monday's highs are in the lower 40s and with a brisk northeast wind, and nighttime lows are around 35. Then we will have a damp, rainy Tuesday with temperatures in the late 30s. Remember to get those umbrellas ready. Midweek, Wednesday warms up a little to 52 degrees, but we will still see some showers in the morning. The evening has a low of 46 with light rain. Heading into Thursday, prepare for the steady rain that will last the whole day. The temperature drops a bit with a high of 50 and chilly night. Finishing the week, expecting occasional rains and some clouds on Friday. The highs are in the lower 40s and it will get cooler at night. Just a friendly reminder to stay dry this week and find indoor activities where you can. Have a great week. Back to you at the desk.
China has relaxed its rules for data flow across the border. Foreign businesses have complained that previous regulations limited and disrupted their operations. Now, data collected in international trade, cross-border travel, manufacturing, academic research, and marketing will be exempt from security evaluations when leaving the country. According to China's top internet regulator, these exemptions must not contain personal or important information. It is unclear what regulators mean by important.
Coming up, find out what famous rapper is featured on Normani's upcoming debut album.
And an update on the mystery behind the public disappearance of Princess Kate Middleton. Stay tuned.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back to WEBN General News. Former Fifth Harmony singer Normani has announced a Gunna collaboration in her debut album. The rapper will be featured on the first single from her album titled Dopamine. After leaving Fifth Harmony in 2018, Normani has released multiple singles alongside industry stars Sam Smith, Khalid, and Cardi B. She has yet to release a solo album until now. The singer says the project feels like a liberation, a season of freedom. The single, titled 159, is set to hit streaming services April 26th.
A longtime designer and creative director has announced his departure from a famous fashion house. For more on that in the latest in entertainment, we now go to our entertainment correspondent, Clara Faulkner. Clara?
Thanks, Emma. The Princess of Wales has announced she is battling cancer in a recent broadcast. On Friday, Kate revealed she is undergoing chemotherapy while asking for privacy from the public. The type of cancer is unspecified, but it is speculated to be connected to the princess's recent abdominal surgery. The announcement follows several weeks of global speculation as to why the princess has been out of the public eye. Valentino's longtime creative director, Palacios, has announced his departure after 25 years with the fashion house. In an emotional Instagram post, the creative thanked his team for their contributions. Petroli started with Valentino in 1999 and quickly rose from co-creative director in 2008 to solo creative director in 2016. He is leaving Valentino to pursue a new creative organization. 1960s model and photographer Patty Boyd's treasures have surpassed $3.6 million in an online auction. Auction house Christie stated that Patty Boyd's collection sold for more than 7 times the pre-sale estimate. The collection went live in London on Friday and contains 111 items. The collection spans from letters to various jewelry, drawings, and photographs. Boyd says she is, quote, completely blown away by the enthusiasm of international bidders. That's all I have for entertainment. Back to you at the desk.
A missing dog and her owner are finally reunited after the search went viral. This all began when Hannah Riley brought her 10-year-old dog Hazel to the vet after she accidentally ate something dangerous. When an employee at the clinic took Hazel outside unleashed, she bolted and disappeared. Hazel's story went viral with posts about her missing pet blowing up on X. A GoFundMe for a billboard ad attracted hundreds of supporters and collected more than $10,000. Riley updated worried supporters on Friday that Hazel's now home safe and recovering well.
That's all for today's stories. Thank you for joining us for WEBN General News. I'm Emma Siebold.
And I'm Sabrina Lam. For more, go to WEBN.TV or check out our Instagram at WEBN General News. We will see you next time.